To introduce him is Mr. Alligator Makori. Makori, kindly tell Kevin Solo and indeed the audience what you expect from our third speaker's speech.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, all of you. Our third speaker today is giving a CC7 manual. That means already he has mastered the first 6 projects, and great congratulations to him. This subject is on research your topic. In 5 to 7 minutes, we expect to see that our speaker collected information about his topic from numerous sources and carefully supports his points and opinions with specific facts, examples, and illustrations gathered through research. I will look out for all the other aspects of good speech that he has learned in the course of his journey to this point. The title for the next speaker is, in a moment, The Titanic of Higher Education. Toastmaster Kelvin Solo, The Titanic of Higher Education, The Titanic of Higher Education, Kelvin Solo.
Did you know that Sub-Saharan Africa has the lowest education ratio in the world at only 5%? Did you also know that Africa is the least developed continent in the world in terms of higher education and enrollment? This is by international standards. Today, I'm going to take you through the journey of higher education in Africa and with an emphasis in Kenya and why they're facing their current challenges. Even if the bleak statistics have started with, the number of students enrolling in institutions of higher learning has actually tripled, down from 2.7 million in 1991 all the way up to 9.3 million in 2006. And this is according to Tiffany in her article in the International Journal of Education in 2016. In Kenya, we had 527 enrollments in 1960, but now we have hundreds of thousands of students enrolling every single year to institutions of higher learning. And this is a positive step because Africa, Kenya, depends on educating its masses so that we can pull ourselves out of poverty and then debouch into prosperity. However, our institutions of higher learning are having a tough time coping with these high enrollment numbers. In fact, they are like a drowning man who tries to clutch at a straw. So how exactly are we dealing with these staggering enrollment numbers? One, Africa opted for private universities. Another solution, and this is what I'm going to focus on today, is that Africa, and specifically Kenya, opted to introduce privately sponsored student programs, or in other words, self-sponsored students. And this move was not only motivated by the high enrollment, stage. The public institutions have also introduced what we call satellite campuses. I know you've heard of Kenyatta University, Kisii campus, Nairobi University, Kisumu campus. But how exactly do these high enrollments, or what exactly do these high enrollments have to do with the challenges we currently face in our universities? You see, the existing student service model was developed to handle a moderate number of government-sponsored students. In fact, Jakabowski and Barnum, in their article, Challenges of Student Affairs at Kenya Public Universities in 2013, strongly affirmed that the high enrollment numbers are actually putting a strain on our public institutions. This is because while there was an increase in enrollment, there was no much increase or expansion in the physical facilities nor the expertise of our teaching staff. And this really deteriorated the quality of learning in public institutions. In fact, Kangondu and Marwa, in their article, Quality Issues in Kenya's Higher Education Institutions in 2017, support this statement by saying that our public universities no longer follow the guidelines provided by the Commission of Higher Education in Kenya. And this is the body that is supposed to regulate quality assurance. For example, our public universities or public institutions of higher learning are introducing courses to attract self-sponsored students, but at the expense of quality mechanisms. And to deal with these extra students, they are using part-time lecturers or the ill-qualified master's students as assistant lecturers. Now, the problem with part-time lecturers is they often jump from campus to campus to campus and never really have time to prepare material, to sit down and research and prepare updated material that they will deliver to students. You find that they often arrive late to class and just deliver the outdated content. We've also witnessed poor examination policies. And this is evidenced by the massive cheating and students copying from each other. And not only students are affected, our teaching staff, especially the full-time teaching staff, are gravely affected too. Most of the times, they receive less remuneration, and in some occasions, they even have to strike before they can get paid. This really deteriorates. This really demoralizes them. And some of them opt to even emigrate abroad. In his article, Diego, for the British Journal of Education, he states that up to 23,000 qualified lecturers emigrate in search of better working conditions every single year. 23,000. You guys can imagine the brain drain. And then we have these part-time lecturers who conveniently fill these gaps. And up to 69% of them, by the way, say they only teach, or they're only here for economic gains and not as a duty to impart knowledge to students. Toastmasters, I have painted the grim picture of the status of our institutions of higher learning. But the status quo does not have to remain. It is up to us to implement policies, to think on ideas, and dig ourselves out of this rabbit hole. Back to you, Rafelda.